Okay, and now we have priest. Okay, priest, the pseudo new class, because they completely removed the shadow priest aspect and made it more of a snowbally kind of board centric deck. So really exciting to see what new tools they have to priest. And we start off with a really important one. It's the Reliquary of Souls. 1 mana, 1/3 lifesteal. Okay, how about that? Priest really needed a good one drop after the North Tree Cleric rotated to wild, and they get it. It's a legendary though, so less consistency, but what a minion this is. So face value, 1 mana, 1/3 lifesteal. Pretty good one drop, but Death Rattle shuffle the Prime into your deck. What is the Prime? It's a 7 mana, 6/8, taunt lifesteal, and only you can target this with spells and hero powers. How about that? Talk about powerful abilities. You know, this is like Hexproof and Shroud from Magic the Gathering. What a difference this makes, right? You can buff this guy to your heart's content, and the only way they're gonna deal with it is with mass removal or with minion effects, such as, Flick or such. So really powerful minion. You know, I can see this soloing a lot of decks. It's just that good. Taunt lifesteal, what a combination. Okay, this card's gonna be really annoying to deal with, for sure. OMG, let's just hope Priest is not tier 1. Okay, and for the second legendary for Priest, we have Soul Mirror. Okay, my camera is a bit weird. It's better. Okay. Next up, for the second legendary of Priest, we have Soul Mirror. Legendary spell. 7 mana, summon copies of enemy minions. They attack their copies. So, like a lot of people have mentioned, this is like the Battlegrounds. You know, you get a mini game of Battlegrounds in your standard, in your... I mean, would you pick this in Arena? I think you would still, right? Because if you have a board, they have a board, you pretty much clear theirs and get to keep most of yours, so pretty good Arena card overall. Is this gonna see play in Standard though? I mean, it might. You know, you definitely don't want this in your res pool if you're playing Resurrect Priest, but in any other control priest, it's a pretty good removal tool. You know, you can never have enough of those, so really exciting card. Really interesting cards. I like those, so all good. Okay, now we have Sethek. I think it's Sethek Veilweaver. 2 mana, 2/3. After you cast a spell on a minion, add a priest spell to your hand. Oh boy, the potential. This card has the potential to be really good or average, but never bad. No, this is not a bad card. This is a really good card. In Arena, it's a pretty reasonable card. In Standard, it can be a bonkers card. After you cast a spell on a minion, so even the new, Holy Fire, or whatever the name is, the 1 mana deal 3, it counts for this, so you can remove at the same time you get value. This card is pretty amazing. It's a really good early to mid game tool that can even give you value in the late game. So all around, one of the best priest cards for sure. Low key, but very powerful. Okay, next up we have Skeletal Dragon. 7 mana, 4/9 taunt. So really good stats for a taunt. At the end of your turn, however, add a dragon to your hand. It's a recurring effect, it's a very powerful effect. It's a minion you would not mind rezzing or bringing back because you want this dude around to generate you a lot of value. So, there's a Galacon Dragon Priest going around. I mean, this just slots nicely into that deck already. That's already a pretty decent deck. I can see this being run a lot. In Arena, you can never go wrong with this card. It's really annoying to get through, it generates a lot of value. It's an all-star in Arena, and a pretty good card in Standard. Overall, pretty good card. Ooh, okay, now we get to the questionable one. It's Psych Split. 5 mana spell, give a minion +1/+2, summon a copy of it. Oh boy. 5 mana, summon a copy of a minion. I mean, if the Druid one was sketchy, this one is even sketchier because it's 1 whole mana more expensive. I mean, if you compare the two, giving +2/+4 overall, is it better than giving one of them taunt? Again, questionable. And it's one of those win more cards, right? You need to be significantly ahead in order to be able to play this. And if you already are, I think there are better options. So, definitely a combo card. Like, people may find some use for it, but I'm not seeing it yet, I may be totally wrong in this, maybe even a 5-star card, but for now, I don't think the support for it is there yet. But someone will find an OTK and prove me wrong, so here's looking forward to that. Next up, we have Dragon Maw Overseer. 3 mana 2/2. At the end of your turn, give another friendly minion +2/+2. Ridiculously powerful effect. Weak body. Weird. Now, this card's gonna require a lot of support, especially to stay alive, right? Like, if you can get a good taunt on turn 2, this card's pretty insane. But it has 2 health. More often than not, your opponent's gonna be able to deal with it the following turn. So, 3 mana to give a minion +2/+2 and force your opponent out of a removal card. Is that good enough? It might just be, We're gonna have to see if aggro priest is a thing. If it is, this card's gonna be a pretty big part of it. If not, this card's not gonna see any play. So, let's see which one we get. In Arena, this is pretty good, obviously. Next up, we have Dragon Maw Sentinel. 2 mana 1/4, Battle Cry. If you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and lifesteal. So, we've had a pretty similar one to this in the past, where it gained +1 attack and taunt. This one gains lifesteal, so it's a bit more tempo aggro oriented than the other one, which I'm not sure if that's gonna work when you're playing dragons, which in Priest tend to be more of a mid-range to late game type of strategy. But this may be just some good early game plays, This may be something like that you just play on turn 2 even if you're a control deck, because it may help you stabilize. Like, you can get a favorable trade in order to do your Dragon Breath. It may be useful there. Pretty good. I mean, in Arena, it's gonna require some support, obviously. Like, if you get to pull off the Battle Cry in Arena, this is an insane card, right? If you get this on turn 2 with the Battle Cry, you're probably winning that game, more often than not, because of your hero power. In Standard, it has potential, for sure. Gonna have to do some experimenting to just see how powerful of an effect it is, but definitely a cool card. Definitely a good card. This card, however, Apotheosis, 3 mana spell, Give a minion +2/+3 and lifesteal. This is a tough sell, right? Like for arena, this is okay, you know. It's a bit weaker than the currently what you have, the +2/+4 spell damage +1. But what you really want to do with this card is discover it off of other cards, right? Like you wouldn't put this in a deck, I think, in standard, but I mean you're not too fussed when you discover it, because it's value. So there's that. It's an okay arena card, but not much to say about it. It's a bit of a 2-for-1 if your opponent removes the minion with a spell, you know, so it's a bit tricky to pull off and gain value from it. It's definitely possible, but not that likely. Next up we have Imprisoned Homunculus. 1 mana 2/5 taunt. Dormant for 2 turns. So, the sooner you play this guy, the sooner you get to stave off that aggression and stall your opponent for a significant amount of time or resources. So if you get this guy early, this guy is really good. It's insanely good, right? I mean, you're still picking this in arena just because of that potential. And even later on, like a 3 mana 2/5 is, I mean it's not a 3 mana, right? It's if you draw this later, it may be a disaster because it does nothing for 2 turns, but it has sufficient upside that it's a pretty high pick in arena. And standard, I don't know. You may try it like as a redundancy plan against aggro. If aggro is like too prevalent, you may try it just to try and survive. Like if you get this early, it may be just enough with all your other tools in order to get to your late game. But I don't see this being something you're too happy to play in your deck. But I may be wrong. It's just that with the new priest identity, you want an actual minion on turn 1, and this does not give you that. But we'll see. And finally we have Renew. Pretty good. 1 mana, spell, restore 3 health, discover a spell. I mean, that's awesome, right? It's pretty good cantrip. Can find you some really powerful cards. I mean, this is a pretty good card for arena, even pretty good card for standard because of the flexibility. Like, it can give you answers to a lot of different scenarios. So, one of the better priest cards, I'd say. Pretty good. And that's it for priest. So, I mean, priest is an entirely new class right now in terms of the potential to be an aggro tempo class, so that's exciting. And they've certainly gotten a lot of tools this expansion in order to make that viable, so here's hoping we finally get to see our aggro priest. I mean, we kind of had that with the combo version, but I mean, it was more combo oriented than aggro. Sometimes you could tempo out your opponent, but this time you may get to do that more consistently. So, looking forward to that.